Hi, my name is Margery Wakefield, and I'm here to talk about Scientology with you. I was a member of the quote-unquote Church of Scientology for 12 years, from 1968 until 1980. That may seem like a long time ago, but I can tell you that not much about the church has changed since then. When I was in the Church of Scientology, like most staff people, I did sign a billion-year contract. That was because I believed, as all Scientologists do, that it was important to clear the planet. That means that everybody on the planet would become Scientologists, like me. After we cleared this planet, we would need a billion years, because then we would go on to clear all the other planets in the universe. So it would take a billion years. So I signed my billion-year contract. I want to tell you about some of the things that I witnessed and did in Scientology, because I want to make the case that this is not a church. It is a criminal organization, but after I tell you my experiences, you can make up your own mind. When I was in Scientology, for example, I was forced to have 6 abortions. 6 abortions. This is because Scientologists, the inner circle of Scientology, does not value children. Many women are beginning to speak out about this practice of forced abortions. Children in Scientology are considered to be adult beings in little bodies. They are warehoused in most cases, and families can only be together 1 hour a day or 1 hour a week, if their production is good. When I was in Scientology, I was involved in a meeting in which we planned the killing of 2 defectors from Scientology, Paulette Cooper and Michael Meisner. Michael Meisner we were going to take out to sea, tie weights on him, and dump him overboard. This was called deep sixing. We were going to deep six Michael Meisner. Paulette Cooper we were planning to have shot in the head. It's a procedure in Scientology known as Routine 245, or in other words, R245, and the 45 stands for a Colt 45 revolver. We were planning to do that to Paulette Cooper. Both of these people were planning to expose Scientology, and the rationale behind killing them was that we had to do what was the greatest good for the greatest number of dynamics. In other words, to protect the third dynamic, the group, Scientology, it was all right to expend a first dynamic, or a person. I think this is also known as the ends justifies the means, which in my opinion is a dangerous philosophy. When I was in Scientology, I was trained to lie. I did a course called TRL, which stands for Training Routine Lie. I was trained to lie to reporters, to judges, in court, in the newspapers, to WOGs, or non-Scientologists. Non-Scientologists are known as WOGs, which is a derogatory English term. And I practiced lying. This is why I say that you can never believe what a Scientologist says, in either to a reporter or in court, because they're trained to lie. When I was in Scientology, I was imprisoned when I became ill, and I was forced to do hard labor. Scientology has its own prison. It's known as the RPF, the Rehabilitation Project Force. And if you become ill, seriously ill, if you sort of screw up on post, on your job, if you don't do well for any number of reasons, you can be sentenced to the RPF, or Rehabilitation Project Force. And in the RPF, you are forced to do hard labor. It can be for weeks, it can be for months, and it can be for years. In my case, it was for months. When I was in Scientology, I was trained to break into offices and steal documents. Remember, this is a church. I was once in what's called a lower condition, and to get out of my lower condition, I had to break into the American Psychiatric Association office, which was near DuPont Circle in Washington, D.C., and I had to steal membership and financial documents, which I did. I was trained to break into locks, and I was even trained how to use a Xerox machine, break into a Xerox machine with a credit card, and make copies. When I was in Scientology, I was trained to wiretap a phone. I didn't actually do this, but I was trained to do it. Again, this is a church. When I was in Scientology, I was trained to burn incriminating documents that we had in the church in what's called a red box, should we be raided by the government or the police. So what we would do if there was a raid imminent is quickly collect all the incriminating documents that we had, put them in the red box, and light them on fire so that our crimes would not be found out about. When I was in Scientology, I was forced to disconnect from my family, my parents, my brothers, my sister, and from my friends. I was forced to write a letter to my family telling them that I never wanted to see or hear from them again. And I did that for 12 years. I did not have contact, except in a couple of circumstances. I did not have contact with my family because, after all, they were WOGs. They were inferior. I was superior. I was a Scientologist. At the end of my 12 years in Scientology, I was imprisoned for a month in the Fort Harrison Hotel in Clearwater, Florida. I was kept under guard for a month, and then I was sent under guard to the airport and flown under guard to Madison, Wisconsin, dumped at my parents' home, and left. At this time, I considered being what they call offloaded or excommunicated a death sentence, because I was in the middle of one of the upper levels, and I was programmed to believe under hypnosis that if I did not finish this level, I would die within 12 days. So being offloaded for me was a death sentence. Needless to say, I was very worried when I got back to Wisconsin. I almost committed suicide. I came very close to jumping off a building. I was driving around looking for a building to jump off when someone intervened on my behalf. And I'm very happy that now that they did. Do I hate Scientology for what they did to me? I'm not sure how I feel about Scientology. I don't hate Scientologists. I consider them to be misguided. I feel that if a person wants to be hypnotized, brainwashed, and give away all their money, they should have that right. After all, in this country, you have a right to your beliefs. But I do feel that if you are going to be hypnotized, brainwashed, and give away all your money, you should know up front that that's going to happen to you. And that is not the case in Scientology. I believe in informed consent. I have a website which you can see on this video, and on the website are the books that I've written about Scientology. I've written 3 books about Scientology. The first one is The Road to Xenu, Life Inside Scientology. You can get this through Amazon. It tells my experiences with the cult of Scientology. I wrote a second book called Understanding Scientology, The Demon Cult. This gives a more in-depth and theoretical description of Scientology and all its various aspects. The third book that I've written about Scientology is called Damaged Lives, The Legacy of Scientology. And this book contains stories of suicides, suspicious deaths, bankruptcies, forced abortions, nervous breakdowns, psychosis, the things that can happen to you if you choose to become a Scientologist. I just thought I would warn you. We are going to make videos every couple of weeks, at least one a month. These videos will document different things. First of all, on my website you can ask me questions and I will answer them on YouTube. You can ask me anything you want about Scientology and I will attempt to answer your questions. In future videos we will also demonstrate for you some of the secret drills that occur on a daily basis in Scientology. In the next video, we will demonstrate Training Routine 0 and Training Routine 0 bull-baited. And you can begin to see what will happen to you if you choose to go into Scientology. We will also demonstrate the practice known as auditing. And we will do Dianetic auditing, we will do past life auditing, we will do the upper level auditing, we will do some of the other training routines. So stay tuned for future videos, and by all means go to my website, write me an email, and I hope to see you soon. Margery Wakefield signing off.